Show. I am in the studio today with a young man who is making waves in the music industry here in Canada. They said the boy is doing it in Toronto, and that's a line I took out from one. Is it not true, Rudy?
Shout out to Hugh Masekela.
The boy is doing it in Toronto. He's doing it in Toronto. Rudy, welcome to the Nana Yaa Yeboaa Show.
Thank you very much, and I
Yeah.
I really appreciate this
And
invitation.
thank you for saying yes. And I have to say that I came across I think I'd seen something about jazz and knitting thing a while back, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. So I heard the horns blowing and everything, and my mind it went. But then your feed crossed my Instagram again, and it's like, oh, who is this person? Oh, this I've seen this person before. He's on stage with Baptiste. It's like, I know he's Ghanaian, but it's like, oh no. I need to talk to him. I need to talk to him. I need to talk to him. Welcome, welcome, welcome,
Thank you,
welcome,
thank you,
welcome,
thank you.
welcome. So So we're going to delve more into your background, the music, the journey, and how it's going so far. How it's going so far. I understand you just finished the class, so kudos to you
Thank
on
you.
the class. So let's start. Ghana,
Yes, our beloved country,
our beloved country, Ghana, our beloved country, Ghana, and
the West Coast Wakanda.
and let me say I am highly impressed and of the young Ghanaian Ghanaians. Ha- you creating a space for yourselves within the broader Black Canadian community,
Mhm.
and you standing firm. You're doing more than we could do, and that is so beautiful to watch. That you pursuing your passions and a thing. So Ghana, let's go back to Ghana.
Oh, I could never say that we are doing more than you could do because you paved the way for us to even envision what is happening now, and
Thank you.
pushing us forward to dream bigger is a really big blessing to feel, because I think for a while many of us were struggling with
Hmm.
the feeling of even earning the opportunity, because we're so confused as to like how to prove our discipline and interest and passions and so forth.
Hmm.
And yeah, that for me started in Ghana. That for me started at Jonte, um, learning the music and also just learning to be a schoolboy, but learning to be a
So
boarding.
John Tay, where is that school in Ghana?
So Reverend Jonte Memorial Institute is on the way to Kumasi
Mm,
um, from Accra. When
okay.
you take the Achimota Road,
Yes. Okay. I've
Opankor
heard
Road.
the name, but I don't know where the school is. So
So
okay.
yes, like many Ghanaians will know Great Lamte Mills as a
Mm-hmm.
main like elementary and high school music institute.
Mm,
And John Tay was a private school that had almost a rival band and school
mm-hmm.
program
Mm-hmm.
for
Okay.
kids. And I was lucky to have gone there
Oh.
through my elementary and high school.
Oh, okay. So
In
you
Ghana, we call like from class 4 to class 6 to JSS to SS, basically.
okay, okay. Nice,
Yeah.
nice, 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 nice. So you had the opportunity to start with music there in Ghana, because that was one of the things that intrigued me, that previously the idea of a musician was almost like a kubolo, somebody who was not serious.
And now look at Black Sharif.
Yes, look up. Yes, yes, yes. And I was about to say no shade to Kubol or One Love. No shade
Charlie,
to
one of
him.
people too. Big man.
Yes. We had this idea that music wouldn't take you anywhere. So we didn't allow people to really get to the root of what moves them. But I'm really glad you were able to find that before you came here. So from Ghana, welcome to Canada.
Thank you.
Tell
Thank
me
you.
about that experience
In Canada.
in Canada.
You know, the experience in Canada was initially a complete flip because life in Ghana was very much intertwined with music and music activities.
Mhm.
But I came to Canada at the age of 16, at
Mm.
about the age of 16, to begin university and study neurosciences. So very much like, and you know that where this story goes because like, you know, I was not going to apply into the music program, you know, at U of T to have and expect to be accepted and have a future a career in that way. So I had to
You
think
know,
about
it's so sad.
well, or maybe not. Maybe there are other like Ghanaians who did get into the music program and have found their way into conservatories and have another like impression with music. Because here's the thing, there are like there are people who do music for therapy, and there are
Mhm.
people who go to therapy because of
Of
music school,
music. Yeah.
right? Because music school caused so much
Stress.
stress
Hmm.
and you know, so it's like what's learning style is really going to help you adapt to
Hmm.
whatever career choices or however you're going to live your life. There are, you know, there are so many interesting stories of people who, you know, started one way and then switched to another because they just weren't feeling. And then there are some people who we never thought were going to be musicians because they were just fixing elevators or painters.
Hmm.
And, you know,
Hmm.
they sang a song and went to the
Hmm.
studio one day and then we are like, why haven't you been singing your whole life?
Hmm.
So yeah, it's tricky that way, but I think yeah, it shouldn't be sad. It's just
So neuroscience to music,
yes.
checking the brains, and you're still giving us, mind, body, and soul.
But good one.
You
Great.
putting the mind, body, and soul together. This is holistic.
Thank
Holistic.
you.
This is
Thank you.
holistic. Yes.
Yes. Language is just as important as a community language.
That is very true. That is very true. So we're not too far off. We're not
Yeah,
too far off. So it's
amazing.
still on the path. We're still doing what humanity needs, still service to humanity. Yes. Um, so are you still doing neuroscience? You done with neuroscience or
So, yes, I completed my first degree in neuroscience,
Mhm.
and then I signed up for a number of online programs that got me pretty much summarizing a master's degree um, in behavioral neuroscience.
Mhm.
I got into a program at Johns Hopkins, and then got too expensive for me to continue this passion of mine. And a few events also with family and you know
Yes.
finances breaking down caused me to rethink
The
my
path.
whole yeah
Mhm.
um and just the difficulty getting through med school and trying to figure out whether PhD and all
Mhm.
of this, which is something I'm still chasing in a way, right? Like
No,
there's
it's
a scholar in me that is just like can't give up, but it struggles with it all the same. So in Three Sisters, there's a character called the Sad Scholar, and lately
oh,
really have been
I
feeling that guy. Ah.
I have it between going further PhDs, permanent
Aha.
head damage.
So now we had to quickly try to start making money,
Yes.
and the music came back into my
Mm-hmm.
life that way. The trumpet was a faster way to, I needed to practice because
Mm-hmm.
practicing the horn helped me stay sane in a way,
Mm-hmm.
and then practicing to make money was so I got a basket license and hit the streets.
Oh,
Yes,
I'm
I
listening.
decided. I was applying for jobs, and I felt like it was not heading anywhere, and I needed money quickly because mom needs money, I need money, and like life is serious. so
Yes.
so and even right after the John Baptiste show, the next day was warm outside. I was on the street busking.
Wow.
Oh yes.
Wow.
Oh, it's very expensive in Toronto. I need a full-time job or something. It's a peculiar time in my life with everything going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
but that's just life. Um,
You've
but
got
yeah,
a hustler spirit.
particularly. So I was in a dojo on the street, trying to get my long toes together, trying to learn this trumpet.
Wow.
And this lady named Peter Girl runs into me, and just the sweetest soul. She's like, no, 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 no. Here's my number. There are some
Mm.
productions going on. Have you ever been in movies? There's this thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then on social media, a number of people started tagging me about the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, they're looking for a black trumpet player for
Mm-hmm.
a period piece,
Mm-hmm.
1960s or 1940s, something like that. And it sounded odd, but it's a gig.
Mm-hmm.
So, I stepped into this world, and it ended up being the Netflix show Self Made, which was shot in 2019.
Wow.
And like, I get to this gig and I'm standing next to Tiffany Haddish, and I'm
Yes.
like,
Yes.
oh
Yes.
God, I'm in a whole different world now. But it's feeling great because this is the first film production that is run by Black women. It's a story about the first Black woman, like, billionaire who,
Yeah.
so like everything about Self-Made felt like I'm just hanging out with my aunties. This is not like, this is safe. I'm not thinking about it like, holy,
Yes.
like, I'm obviously impressed because there are American, like, you
Mm-hmm.
know high rankings
That's
celebrities among us,
yes.
and it's still shooting in Toronto. So like, but the whole experience opened my eyes to
A
film,
different world
right?
film.
And just bands on television and bands in movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to look and speak to Peter Gill and just consider how to play more background roles,
Mm-hmm.
and how to get into that. And then, so 4 years, fast forward 4 years later, I'll do some work with Guillermo del Toro, with Justin Momoa
Mm-hmm.
on Murdoch Mysteries, and
Yes.
then and then the feeling of being in the background on TV is not like, it's not so like unusual anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is also an important part to meeting John Baptiste, because, like,
Yes.
yeah, on that day I had CPR in the morning, and I didn't have, like, also, like, I didn't have
You
money to
had
pay for the,
CPR.
yes.
CPR.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I had CPR training, like
Okay.
a quick CPR training in the
No,
day.
I just wanted to make sure I was hearing you
That
right.
properly,
That's why
yeah,
I
no,
was
no. No, no, no.
okay.
I didn't need to be revived.
No, not
Oh
you.
God. I meant I had CPR training. So I'm currently in this program at Trios. It's an
Mm-hmm.
online program, what I just finished today.
Yes.
And so last week it was the CPR training week.
Mm-hmm.
This week is pharmacology.
Ah.
So I did not. We do.
Charlie, hustle, hustle.
Where
But
do I feel?
the real question is exactly what do you want to do?
Both. I always imagined my life like, in the daytime, I'm wearing a lab coat, maybe, helping a few people, doing this here, running here and there. And then at the night, at the nighttime, if I'm actually able to drive, I'm putting my lab coat away, I'm taking my horn, and I'm running into the studio or the club,
Okay.
and it's a
We'll see.
full.
We'll see which money will talk.
Aha! So we'll see, we'll see. I just might end up like maybe having to choose one, and or having to find a way to fuse both, and like I,
I think you would.
I often joke that I would love to be like Kanye West's therapist, private therapist. If I have one client, one or two clients there, Charlie, we are good. Aliko Dangote.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that
Yeah,
sounds
it's
like
not
a
that simple. I know.
that
It's not.
sounds like a great plan. It will pay for all your debts, your student your student loan debt.
Two birds, one stone.
Don't worry, after school you pay for it. don't
Thank you.
don't think about it right now. We all did the schooling, and after that we had some hefty debts, but it's all with the strategic planning and whatnot. And yeah, we cleared some of them. Yeah.
Plus,
You
plus.
clear it, you go back into it, then you clear it, then you jump back into
I
it.
tell
So
you,
we're going in
that's the
and out
whole
of
cycle. That's the cycle right there. Tax season.
tax.
Tax season, Uncle Sam.
That
Hey.
is right. That is
Yeah.
right. That is
But
right. Yeah.
it's been wonderful, and I
Hmm.
think so. Since over the past 4 years, it's been a lot of film and all of that,
Hmm.
which has been helping
Hmm.
supplement
Hmm.
everything else that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then last fall, I decided to get back into this program, which is going
Hmm.
to take me this year to
Hmm.
complete.
Hmm.
Um, I think that I've always thought of my plans in 1, 3, and 5 year,
Mm.
strategies.
One,
And
3, and 5. Okay.
yeah,
Odd numbers. Break it
very.
down.
I think it's just happened like that in my
You,
life.
the neuroscientist, maybe there's something that
Perhaps,
I
perhaps,
don't know. So,
perhaps I'm playing to like the factorial thing about chunking. How
mhm.
how you learn to memorize large textbooks, and chunking is about learning how to memorize things in 7 pieces and so forth.
Oh my goodness.
You
Don't
know.
add me to that equation.
Okay, okay, but like but anyway, like
Hmm.
as life is developing,
Yes.
I'm hoping that I can. Life is not easy, Nana Yaa.
No, Kwaku.
You know,
Rudy,
like
life
my
is not
desire is to be
easy.
somebody. My desire is to be somebody like John Baptiste, but for Ghana, because I am so about not losing my language and not losing myself, and like not forgetting something about the people there who I feel far away from sometimes because they don't use TikTok and things like that. And I want to see the day these people are like, selling 1,000 are also blowing up on TikTok. And,
Um,
I don't know, there's some sense for progressiveness in Africa that I'm also really passionate about.
Uncle Kwaku,
Oh, Charlie.
I want to do this. How do I do it? And you're going, because you've taken the steps and you've walked this path, you'll be able to, how do we call it, support them in this journey.
I hope I can offer some.
There's no I hope. Passion
Okay,
and
okay, yes,
purpose.
I will. I'm here.
There's no I hope.
I'm
Ah,
here.
don't let
It's
me
not
bring my Ewe language out.
okay. I'm here. I'm
Hmm.
here, and I'm grateful to help.
Great. You already answered my next question, which would have been what inspires you and motivates you on this journey.
Hmm. Yeah, it's the examples. It's the
Yeah,
ceremony.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like seeing it all come together. It's
Mhm,
understanding that I like it's not about me. It's about
mhm,
everybody. it's about everybody.
Yeah.
It's maybe the key factors of sending the message of healing, sending the message
Mm-hmm.
of freedom, sending the
Mm-hmm.
message of joy, sending the message of peace, sending the
Mm-hmm.
message of, laughter
Mm-hmm.
to cope with this nonsense.
Which is very necessary, which is very necessary. I personally find my escape in poetry. That's what
Mm,
I write the most, yeah, and
wow.
publish, yeah.
Okay.
And telling stories, Anansi stories.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that is where I find my escape. It's really how do we call it? And enlightening. So
Yeah, it's powerful. I remember growing up and there used to be a program called By the Fireside.
I beg, how old are you?
Hey, this is a serious interview.
It is very serious. If you mention by the fireside, if you mention Mami Dokno, then how old are you?
Mommy, yeah, Mami Dokunu and those stories. I'm not gonna
Then
tell you how old
that
I am.
yes.
I'm a very old man.
Now I want to know. It is a very serious interview. Now I want to know whether you are qualified to call me auntie or not. Or ma.
Oh, Charlie. Oh.
Eh, I'm
Humble. I'm
listening.
humble. I'm humble.
Continue. I'm listening.
Yes, but like
Ah, you
the
have not answered the
storytelling.
question.
I'm 31 years old. I'm 31. Yeah.
You can call me sister.
Okay.
No, actually, call me auntie.
Okay.
Auntie is fine.
Yeah. Seniority. I think there's something about like formalities in Ghanaians too, right?
Yes,
Like this
yes, yes,
seniority
yes,
expect.
yes,
It's
yes,
just
yes.
a very natural way of showing
It's
love.
respect.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. That is appreciated. I'm not complaining. No, I'm not
But like
complaining.
more to the like the point of
Yeah.
storytelling and how we
Mm-hmm.
used, by the fireside and like those
Mm-hmm.
things to help really narrate and bring discourse to ethics
Yes.
and certain like cautionary tales that help people think about things differently
Morals.
and like yeah, or else. But like I think that's another thing that I'm hoping lives in a more vital way because it feels like it's a tradition of the past, which it shouldn't be because most of those stories are things that are so relevant today, and I feel as though it's just harder to find, or Hollywood is always messing it up so badly that
Um,
like
I won't
the true
blame
narrators
Hollywood.
and okay, tell me.
I will not blame Hollywood. I will blame us as the custodians of the culture.
Hmm,
We need to do a better job
of telling these
of
stories.
keeping it alive because oral storytelling was way there before digital storytelling. And some cultures that even lost their narratives and is written in books, many indigenous societies are reclaiming what is written in books to retell it orally.
Yes, you're right.
Yes. So it is us, the custodians, who have to be on top of it and keep it going. If I have the opportunity to be in a space or a place with a crowd, I'll do the storytelling. That
Hmm.
is no, yes. There is not. If somebody invites me, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. Could you come and do the Anansi story? Absolutely no problem. I will show up and do it. You understand?
And please, I think that we should do jazz and poetry shows where you come and tell and answer stories, because like more of these, like I think there are not enough narrators like yourself in the
Exactly.
spaces that I'm in, or in black spaces that Black communities that are forming all around Toronto, who are seeking these things. And I'm telling you this because they are even messing up. I go, hey, amen. They're messing that up.
I'm at your service. I
So
am at your service. So that is the role of the custodians of oral arts from an African perspective. So I do Anansi stories. Somebody may be Nigerian, having tales from Nigeria as well. So I was in Sierra Leone earlier this year on a mission, and the night was full of stories in the sense that I was asking about, what are some of the stories that you heard as a child? So these older gentlemen and women had to go in and find the stories because they are also losing it. So when I asked that question,
wow,
it made them rethink for them to, go ask their parents and come and retell me the stories that they heard. So my last Anansi story, for instance, was a story I heard about the spider in Sierra Leone that I retold.
nice.
You understand? So that
Yeah.
is the role of us as custodians to retell it and also to curate it for the
Yeah.
next generation.
Yes, because it has to live on, I
It
think.
has to live on. And Anansi stories have lived on. You know,
Yeah.
this is not about Anansi stories. Kwaku, and your name is Kwaku Anansi. Ah, sorry, not the Anansi. Your name is Kwaku. Look
Okay,
at
so
this
back
young
to
man.
Baptiste.
Ah,
Oh, this is great.
you having fun at my expense.
No, not at your expense. I'm so grateful that like I finally got to like have a conversation. I had a conversation on Jazz FM, and it was lovely, but it wasn't like this. It
It was
wasn't like I was
dry.
not laughing. I wasn't like I didn't like and no disrespect to that. I just felt like I was like, I had to wear a suit and be
Yes.
like, okay, I went to school. Da, 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 da. I feel like I'm just home talking to my auntie about something that happened, and it feels, it feels warmer, and I'm grateful that I'm grateful.
You are most welcome. That's why we have conversations, detailed conversations of value. So I'm happy you are happy. So the audience, I hope,
It's
I hope
happy
they
too.
will they will be happy to say, look at these two people. So let's leave Anansi on the side and come to before I start calling you Kweku Nancy
Oh,
throughout this
Charlie.
interview, the rest of the conversation.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
let's talk about consciousness in your music. Over
Yes.
to you.
Mm. You know, to borrow a term from or not, I grew up playing trumpet mostly to connect with the earth, with
Mm,
the people, and with God.
mm,
I grew up in cultures where the trumpet always had a specific role to play in festivals, in spaces, and I never really felt like I was very good at playing the trumpet. So I always saw it as the one thing that would be the lifetime quest of like, you know, learning to master. I just felt like the tool that I'm hearing certain things and there's no way I'm going to be able to play it all through the trumpet, but somehow it's going to humble me, and I'm going to try again and try again and try again, and there's something that is just um I don't know why it's the trumpet. I could have picked up the guitar, the piano. I play percussions. I
mm-hmm.
love music in its entirety. But there's been this relationship with the horn that has also been um, maybe reconfirmed by certain moments in my life, or like reconfirmed is not the right word I'm trying to use here, but like have just kind of played a pivotal role in my life at certain
Mm-hmm.
times in my as I've grown. For example, the the crowning of Bishop Duncan Williams.
Okay.
I was one of the trumpeters to play at that, and I was so young at
Mm.
the time, and that was
Mm-hmm.
so, like it was a very special moment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Getting to get private lessons with Hugh Masekela
Oh.
was like a major and like a very very important aspect of me continuing to learn the trumpet and move to flugel. The relationship between my father and South Africa and Hugh Masekela was how I got to become a
Is your
private.
father here?
He's in Ghana.
Oh. So you came to school here
Yes, and just stayed.
and just stayed. Brain drain.
Oh no. Actually, part of this is also in part, I would say, a decision that was also my father's.
Mm-hmm.
He would say that, you know, the best insurance he gave us was our Canadian citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
My father came here in the 60s, sorry, and married, and had a first son, got his citizenship from that first marriage before meeting my mom. And so by the time I was born, I was already like he had a citizenship that allowed me to come here as a returning Canadian, even though I never
In the
knew
60s. Where did he settle first?
McGill and then U of T and then Harvard.
What did he
Yeah, he's got a
study?
very interesting story, this guy. Yeah.
What did he study?
This guy, Dr. Ken Kwaku. Yeah, Dr. Ken Kwaku is, and you can look him up on Wikipedia. Dr. Kwaku is a very interesting man, and maybe more than Dr. Ken Kwaku, his mother, Rebecca Grow, is a very very important woman in Ghanaian history. So I think maybe that part of my legacy and life also gave me a certain access.
How
And
how
you
old
know
is your father now?
he's now he's turning 78. Yeah.
No, the reason why I'm asking if it the 60s, my father came here in the 60s to McGill University to do his master's in education, etc., etc. So that is why it's like,
So they
okay.
must have been the cohort. They must have been the
it,
group.
it was during Nkrumah's time. They did get sponsor scholarships
Hmm.
to yes,
The
it's
Commonwealth scholarships.
the Commonwealth
So
scholarship.
yes, and
Yeah,
my dad
yeah.
came under the Commonwealth scholarships too. So that was the ship. That's the ship.
Kwaku,
That's the ship they all sailed on.
oh my
And
goodness.
I just happen to be, so like this is so important, right? Like having to know like the legacy and
The
and the
legacy,
structure of
yeah.
certain things helps you
Hmm.
really understand, why, these younger
Wow.
boys,
I,
why
I,
these younger boys they here with Charlie. They're not a rush, but Charlie, they cause problems. Then if you step on the same stuff, then okay. Do
whoa.
announcements.
Wow, 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 wow. We, we
Yeah,
we we have similar background narratives. It's interesting. It's
surely.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm sure like maybe the more we talk, the more we might find like you
Yes.
know like
Yeah.
this. We don't need ancestry DNA testing for this one. Oh.
Because I know I'm going to ask my dad about Dr. Ken Kweku and if he
Mm,
knows anybody of the same name.
of course.
Because my father used to be at the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning before he decided to come back here again in the 80s. So,
If I may ask, what's your father's name?
Philip Poku.
Philip Poku.
Yes, Dr. Philip Poku.
Dr.
Yes.
Philip Kwaku.
You see those years, doctor. You're talking
Uh,
about going to do a PhD, and I'm thinking it's like
you were following in your father's footsteps.
no, I paused on it. I just
I passed on it. Yeah, I
yeah.
held my tongue.
I paused on it because if I didn't go back in 20 when I finished my master's, maybe 2000, yeah, 2020, it's like I've been caught between going and coming, and it's like, nah, let me focus on these things and the other things I do in life. And yeah, I'll
It's hard
leave
to
that for you.
focus. Sometimes it's hard to focus, but
It is,
you,
but
you find a way.
yes, yes. I figured if I'm going to do a PhD for 5 years, 4 years minimum, I'm working full time, 5 years. I may not be able to do the other stuff that I love to do, and they are all going to just for the doctor or whatever, and then get half crazy. No,
It
it's
was a
okay.
different time. I think
Yes.
from the way I see it now, it was a different time
Mm-hmm.
of trying to find the same language and
Mm-hmm.
esteem and need
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm.
restructure whatever it was that we're trying to put
Yes.
in place. And the policies and you know the 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 level of education that they achieved by the
Mm-hmm.
ages that they did
Yeah.
are the same, if not like similar to what
Mm-hmm.
like we are also getting to,
Mm-hmm.
at least in my cohorts. I'm not saying that I'm like that.
Eh, I have
I'll say
more
my seniors.
seniority than
I'll
you.
say if I don't get money, my brother gets some. You know, like there are some seniors, there are some senior brothers in here that are, like who already,
Yes.
like
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
who have some great ideas on policies and ways to do things that I think are, you know, that speak to this collective trauma that we are all trying to find the
Heal
language to
ourselves.
heal. Yeah.
Yes, yes, that is right. Yeah, that is right. I think
So
one
yeah,
of the
that's my answer on consciousness.
yes, that's subconscious. That is one of the questions that I really wanted to ask earlier, like your transition into Canada and any experience with culture shock, most especially going to university. And in one of your interviews, I heard you went to U of T Scarborough. I
Yeah.
went to U of T St. George.
Okay.
Different generations, different time periods. What was your
But
culture?
that alone, like that there is already a subculture in U of T that tells you, oh, if you went to the newer campus of Mississauga, then like, are you actually a U of T student? And if you went to the St. George campus, then you're really like a rich U of T student. And if you went to Scarborough, you're a satellite campus. There were already like there was already a certain demarcation on that. But then like U of T Scarborough has its own world of,
A culture.
yes,
Hmm.
which also helps you understand Scarborough in relation to Toronto as
Hmm.
like a social place, a social
Hmm.
center and
Hmm.
municipality. And being a black person, I think that's something to understand, because U of T has this idealized, um, you know, this is the white rich like Ivy League campus, but it's in Scarborough, which is the black community like adjacent space of Toronto. And like being somebody who didn't understand any of these
This
things
is
and just liked jollof at 16, like definitely had a culture shock until like I had to learn how to write a TTC. There was a lot of learning that happened,
hmm
for me to understand what Liberty Village was,
hmm hmm
and so yes, there was a lot of understanding subcultures and cultural differences and
yeah.
understanding what it even meant to be black. I had to buy a book for jokes,
How to be oh
how to be black, because because I think that is actually different from how to be African. My
how to
sort
be
of,
black.
uh
Who wrote
by
it?
Baratunde Thurston, by Baratunde Thurston. It's hilarious, but it's just social commentary on some of the differences, and just kind of sheds light on how just the similarities and differences in all of these things. Like
How to
I
be
had to learn jerk chicken was different from jello. Like like yeah,
rice and peas is different from wache.
Why some pieces slow too? Don't do me like that, cry. you, you don't know my
Wow.
color. You don't know my color. You go to the sauce.
This
Plantain
is
or
something.
plantain. I
Hey.
had to learn a lot of different things on how to
Wow.
be black. To start to also understand the depth of, well, what the identity issue was on, like,
Mm,
like, oh, I've been hearing about Ghana. I want to go to Ghana. Like, I'm here, especially in the years that followed, like there was a
mm-hmm.
lot of ancestry, search
Yes.
among the communities here. And
Mm-hmm.
like for me, I'm lucky to have the story to say, like, I can
Yes.
show you pictures of my
Yes.
great grandfather, and that alone, even in Ghana, is a privilege. And so,
Mm-hmm.
like, understanding, hmm,
It's
Buhari times. I have to really understand and, like, learn how to be present,
mm-hmm.
how to empathize, how to sympathize, how
Mm-hmm.
to help my brothers and sisters find themselves and, like, build back you know the dream of whatever it
Returning.
means
Yeah.
to be themselves,
Black.
and, like, this, back to John Baptiste, how to really
Yes.
be uneasy. He's on an uneasy tour, speaking about, be who you are, like,
Yes.
all of that, like, was welcoming to me, tying it back to Massey Hall.
So that one, so instead, as the Nigerian would say, this boy, you get liver, you get liver. But there is something key, and what really triggered, pushed me that I really need to have this conversation with you is that preparation. You came prepared.
Yeah, Charlie.
You came prepared and you did it flawlessly to be
Oof.
called on stage. No, the reason why I'm saying this is that many of the audience are either in Ghana, Nigeria, um, US, and UK. And I want to hone in on it because as Black people, we often look at things as, yeah, sometimes things happen. I do understand that. But opportunities, when granted, how do they occur?
Hmm.
Being prepared, being ready.
Yeah, you have to take time to prepare. You have
Yes.
to take time to meditate through things. I was lucky to have some time. I got the tickets to it. I met him at 5 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I In the meet and greet was when I played for him initially, because I
Mm-hmm.
had my horn with me
Mm-hmm.
by chance,
Was it by
and
chance?
or by luck, or by
Because whether
intention.
consciously or unconsciously, you pick
Yeah,
that horn to
I
take with
decided,
you.
yes, and I think
Yes.
there's something in that split second when I came home
Mm-hmm.
after CPR to be like, hey, I want to, change and
Mm-hmm.
then go to this concert.
Mm-hmm.
I've been invited to just attend this concert, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting the chance to meet this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what am I showing up like? What, like, this is a different scenario than just going to the concert.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just felt like, getting ready was
Well,
like
the
the way to
feeling was the
go.
right feeling. It was the
Right.
right judgment call. Yes.
And so that it led to the connection that we
Mm-hmm.
had in me playing Night in Tunisia as an homage to Dizzy Gillespie,
Mm-hmm.
him connecting that Tunisia is actually where his wife comes from. And he didn't mention that
Oh.
to me there, but he just said, like, he heard me play that night in Tunisia and he was like, like, can we add this guy to the program? Blah, blah, blah. Like, so,
Mm-hmm.
and, and and quickly giving my information. I think that's another really important part. Everyone was in line to just take a picture with this man, and get off. That time to that extra effort to actually just give them my information and be like, yes, this is my website, this is my phone number, and
Mm-hmm.
was critical. And maybe after that I felt like, okay, now now it's gonna be an interesting night. But between 5 and 8 o'clock when the show was, that was there was the time when I needed to now go and pray, go and prepare, go and
Now,
think
I,
through things.
I have been around and have conversations with people for quite a while now to really, sorry, my little piece of paper just fell.
Hmm.
To really understand that when you really look at it, when you connect the dots of your past, everything was actually meant to be what it is. But as human beings, we often don't, you know, look at it or think about it. But when you reflect and you look at it, it's like a puzzle being put together. When you reflect, you see the puzzle all put together. I would just give you my story for free. I really love journalism.
Hmm.
But when I came to Canada, I couldn't see any blackface on television to say I wanted to do journalism.
Hmm.
So I still did the writing, whatnot. I went to U of T, did sociology, health studies, sociology of health and medicine, because I was a science student, but I bypassed yours. And afterwards, it's like, okay, either do public health, masters in public health, MPH, or just MPH. I didn't see I'll get a job, so I just jumped into nursing and did
Hmm.
nursing at U of T.
Oh.
And I started working. But here in lies the case that you're on stage in downtown, how do we call it, Toronto, doing spoken word poetry. And so it carries over with you, with you, with you still. It never goes away. And if I did not do the journalism, I can still do a podcast
Hmm.
and still have that. You understand? So
Yeah.
when I connect the dots of my past and I see that it all comes together flawlessly, if you look at yours, you also see that. Now, before I let you speak, you were talking about the abeng. You know the atentebeng is laughing at the abeng. It's a powerful tool. Please.
Oh, Charlie. Hmm. So what can I play for you?
Oh, oh, you were thinking this. No, I was actually thinking of Abe in history, the power of the horn in history.
Hmm. Okay, let's talk about the power of the horn. I
So,
feel like there's probably some stories about this that I might not know, or like.
we, how about we do that storytelling at an event you put together, and I'll come support you.
Yes! Nana Yaa Yeboaa in the house! Nana Yaa Yeboaa in the house!
I, I
Proper.
I will do that for you. I will
Okay.
do that for you. But it's to you, serenaders.
Merci beaucoup.
Darien. Ah, you're from Togo too. Mm.
No, no, number 9 for we are close.
We are good. Oh, jeez, Lord have mercy. We're all ears.
Mm.
What are you going to play for us?
Oh. Hmm.
Not Danasi.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that the time.
Akpe.
Where's my crown? Where's my crown? Where's my crown? One time for our people.
Akpe, thank you, thank you,
Thank you.
thank you, thank you, thank you. Rudy,
Nana.
Ray, Mr. Kwaku, but you are not your Nancy, but you are Kwaku. So now let's go to bragging rights because we've talked about let's brag a little bit. It did not come just it took years. It's seats that
Bragging
is
rights.
let's talk about bragging rights. We too we day.
Hey.
Now we day here now.
Heavy lockers.
We day who is that flavor? What is the other song? Agabola. How much is money? Come on, go ahead.
You know all the hits. You're current.
I beg you. Don't even start me.
Oh.
Yes, bragging rights. Go.
I don't know what to say. Yes, I've been part of I think it's important to say like I have not won a Juno under my own name yet because I have not released an album named Rudy Ray. But I have
Okay.
worked with many artists whose projects have won Junos, and that's been
Okay.
consistent.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification. Okay.
Yeah.
You've worked. So one of the things that really got me is that I didn't realize that is it Drake's trumpets.
Yes,
That noise was part. You were part of that noise.
I was. I
It's
was.
a-
I was in
I
that drama. I was heavy in that drama.
so I was driving and it came up and it's like, what is all this trumpeting? And it really sounded like Jama. And then I saw the name Drake. It's like, when did Drake started all this
They
thing?
don't know. They don't know. They don't know. They've been listening to drama from time.
So
That's the story.
I enjoyed it because it was familiar, but then I didn't know that it was a whole Ghanaian behind this all Jama music.
Bless.
Okay. So
Bless.
you've been on that, Drake,
Yeah.
Baptiste. You've been with how do we call it? Who else?
The Wutang Clan,
Wood
Ghostface Killer. Yes, I'm saying it like a
drop,
Ghanaian,
drop, drop,
like
drop, 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 drop.
Ghostface Killer. Yeah, like working on Death of the Arena album
Death
with
of Arena. Okay.
yeah, like with Lee Scratch Perry from Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Would It
Mm-hmm.
Be Fine featuring Ghostface?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the Godfather
Wow.
ranking stuff with DJ Merciless.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with Toby, who's gone on to win Junos quite consistently. Most recently on with Panic.
Um, Toby Eno something. What's his
Toby,
last name?
Aji.
Aji. Or maybe I am confusing it.
Okay, but he's a
Yeah,
Toronto based. He's a Nigerian who is now based in Toronto and lower like in Ontario, in Ottawa actually.
in
But
Ottawa. Is
yeah,
he tall? A little bit big?
yeah, tall, always shaved.
I
You
feel
know,
like I kind of know him down the grassroots.
for sure.
Those
Yeah,
he's been in the industry for a while.
big time. Yeah,
Yes, yes. So
yeah,
this is grassroots time. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But he's now he's signed to a major label now, and he's now
Mm-hmm.
touring in the US.
Oh, that's
Doing very
wonderful.
well. And yeah, like I feel like sometimes I'm it feels too many or like not sure who to name as like blockbusters because has that potential. I love the
Yes,
music. There are so many people who,
yes.
like I feel like if I mention this person, I'm not mentioning the other one. But I've been very lucky. I've been very,
Mm-hmm.
very lucky to work with some incredible work on some incredible projects, work with
Mhm.
some
Mhm.
incredible people, and both in on in music, in the music album world,
Mhm.
and in the film and television.
Mhm.
Most recently, I worked, or I'm working on a project with HBO Max called
Mm.
Welcome to Derry.
Welcome to Derry.
Yes, Welcome to Derry. I think the trailer was just released last week as well. And it's the third installation of Stephen King's novel, It, with a
Oh,
clown, that horror movie.
yes.
Yes, so there's a series coming out on HBO,
Mhm.
and in it I play like a trumpet player, you know,
Mhm.
in a very
Nobody was chasing you. The clown was not chasing you.
no,
Ah,
but
I'm just.
it was still a pretty intense situation. You have to watch it to see what happens.
I will look for it and watch it
Yes, and
and take it.
also the
Mm-hmm.
like most recent season of Murdoch Mysteries,
Okay.
something I worked on
Mm,
as well.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
I,
yeah,
I I watched
together.
your performance, Toronto Black Film Festival. I I
Thank
wa-
you.
I
The most
watched it.
recent, or the one we filmed in-house, like
You
in.
filmed it in house
Oh
with a
yes, okay.
band, yes,
Oh, that was
and
fun.
I really did enjoy it. I really had a ball. I
Oh,
really it was just surreal just to watch you play the trumpet, the drums, all the instruments, and it's like, hey, for only one person.
just have fun with it.
Just I was learning to play the flute in Ghana, the the atentebeng
Hmm.
in Ghana, but it just everything just evaporated from my brains.
It's practice. I tell you, it's what I mean. Like
It's
it will take forever.
yeah. I have heard people play um the trumpet, but the way you play it, I've within our community, I've heard people play it, but the flawlessness with that you play it with is really, really, tells a person who has dedicated a time to master that art and be able to stand on the stage alone and just do a show with that trumpet. I beg.
That is true. I follow. I follow. I follow. Thank you. Thank you. And honestly, I I like, in as much as I feel like I feel like that's in every each and every one of us. That, because it really is. It's in each and every one of us. And you know,
But you've
I'm not sure what
cultivated
compelled me
yours.
in the moment to do that. And frankly, I feel like my my impetus to do that now has awakened something in myself of like
Mhm.
how important it is for me to actually prepare. So, and so instead of like me feeling like, oh man, I was prepared for the moment, now I'm like, oh my God, it's time to prepare.
It's one of the
So that's how
lessons
that's how I feel, but I'm
I
grateful.
learned about preparation is that even if it's one person, you prepare like it's a whole crowd, a whole show.
Yeah,
So you always have that in your mind that it's not only one person.
yeah. It's
So
not
that
just one. Yeah,
when that opportunity presents itself, you are ready for the
yes.
majority. So that
So
is wonderful. That is great.
thank
Well,
you,
good.
Charlie. Thank you. That's it. You see, this is the time we have to call the cocotte seller. This is exactly the time we call the cocotte seller and be like, hey, Charlie, please, and add one like club beer. Yeah.
This part I'm going to cut it out because it's not coming in. Well, you have to come home one of these days.
Oh,
You have to come home one of these days. Yes, and I will host you. Don't
oh,
worry.
I appreciate.
You get no problem.
No,
Problem
I
no
know,
day.
I know, I know. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
I will host you. I feel like you need to meet another this you know what, let me end this before my talk goes too long.
No problem. Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll cut this part out. Hi, viewers. You've been watching the Nana Yaa Yeboaa podcast with Rudy Ray Kwaku, a very talented trumpeter or maybe instrumentalist, more of an instrumentalist, a professional musician who is making waves. And very soon he will be a hurricane of a wave. Within our community, he is coming. There is no stopping him. Rudy,
That's it.
last words.
God bless you. God bless you. You know, and maybe
I,
like
I,
shalom, peace, and life to you.
I had to get in when you've not getting too big before you get too big, and then I can't get in.
Oh, Auntie, you know, that's impossible. But yeah, I'm always here. I'm always here. I know the corners.
Otherwise, no kokonte for you,
I
no
know.
akple for you,
Bless.
no banku and no crow.
Oh, Auntie, this interview has been, you know, a very very impactful one, and I'm so grateful to meet you, and also to get to speak about all of these things in a very honest way that I don't think I've ever had a chance to start to practice, you know, speaking my truth. So thank you for this your platform and this opportunity.
Thank you for thanking me.
With that,
Akpe, thank
mm.
you, thank you, my dear.